Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel Gone with Gandalf, and it is, well, we're back here again at the gates of Argonath, and we are looking over the visual upgrades that you can expect to see to the roster for the Remnants of Angmar. So let's get right on into it. So, as we all know, Angmar have a very dark theme. They are kind of like, you know, the faction that was left over by the Witch King, so they definitely follow that theme. However, the Witch Knights, the General's Bodyguard, they do not get any kind of upgrades, and neither do our Thralls. However, as we move on to the Rhudaurians, the Hillmen do get a very minor upgrade. It should be said that they do look like they've kind of got some nicer clothing. There's not really a whole lot else to say, really. They don't get any chainmail, nothing like that. Very, very minor. However, as we move on to the Rhudaur pikemen and the savages, they do upgrade to get kind of like, I don't really know what it's called, but those plates on the chest. And this mimics quite nicely then to the post-barracks event units and the more elite Rhudaurans, the Rhudaur landsmen and huskars, which we have of course seen being played with as Morholt. So overall, your hillmen look rather uniform across the board, which is something I definitely can get on board with. And then to another unit that we have seen very often before the Barracks event, you have the Angmarim Infantry and the Angmarim Archers. And both of these units get a slight upgrade to their chainmail that you can kind of see on their arms and shoulders and just between their legs, like underneath their, I don't know what it's called really, but just beneath their main clothing, they've got some chainmail that is visible. Very nice. And we'll just flick by the Barrowites that Hunborn has and the Dark Blades of Skuld. They do not receive any armor upgrades. Or they do get upgrades, but just of course no visual ones. And that's what we are covering here today. And similarly, the Warg Raiders are mounted bowmen, and the Warg Skirmishers are javelins. They get nothing. Filthy orcs anyway. But now we move on to the meat and potatoes of the Angmarim battle line post-barracks event. And you have the Iron Crown units, the Halberdiers, the Archers, and the Warriors, those guys with the two-handed swords. And they all upgrade to have this very similar and uniform look, once again. And they have a very distinct bit of plate mail. And I'm not really so sure about this. Obviously, they look far more armoured, but I really kind of like the Iron Crown tabard that they have beforehand. I don't know, perhaps you guys might think differently, but they definitely do look more armoured and more professional, I will say that. And our elite, it's not very elite, but our elite cavalry, post-barracks event cavalry, they also get a very minor upgrade, and it took me a couple passes to actually spot the difference here, but they do get that black iron plate, I think it's called, that you can see particularly with the shoulder armor that both the Mount Graham Raiders and the Mount Graham Marauders both get, and they have that armor that the Morgul Chosen have as well, so if it looks familiar, I think that is where it is from, and they do look fantastic. I'm a big fan of that upgraded look. But to our actual elite cavalry then, the Guardians of Khan Dum, which of course the Witch King comes along with, if you should be so lucky to get him in your campaign. I of course have just managed to get him just before the Barracks event, and they do not upgrade, but they do look really good. And their foot counterparts, I guess, the North Guard, equally armor piercing, they have the same look, no visual changes. And I thought I would just throw in the snow trolls there just to show that we actually can recruit snow trolls. I think you can get them from Gundabad, and I know Morbatarth as well if you get it up to a high enough settlement level, although that is really a Gundabad unit. Well, there you have it then. There is a really nice mix in the Angmar roster. You've got the Rhudaurians, then you've got the Northmen, which are like the Angmarim infantry and archers and that, along with the Iron Crown units. And then you've got a mix of these other kind of other units, shall we say, where you've got the Barrowites, and then you've got the Dark Blades, and then you've got the Orcs, all which basically are all of your cavalry. And I really like the aggressive nature of the roster as a whole, and the armor-piercing nature in particular is very useful against all of your immediate enemies. And they're just a lot of fun to play as, and it's really nice that they do get some visual upgrades, not obviously as many as some other factions, such as the Dwarves or Gondor, but it's nice just to have these in here nonetheless. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoy following along with the campaign. If not, then you can go and check it out. It's on my channel. I have a playlist for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. I also do lore videos, by the way. I'm going with Gandalf. Good day.